Modular, in my opinion, there's a lot of things that are incredible about it and that could be really, really good for the industry. Just at this point in time, I don't know if the demand is there or the client awareness. And it's also about having builders that are willing to, learn that aspect and learn that side of things. So in my opinion, if people are keen and they want to do it, there's still so much education online. We have so much on the internet these days that you can readily access and learn about, because the timelines are quicker, but it's then about educating the other trades. So educating your electrician, how to rough in, what cables to use, the difficulties or challenges that come with working with a modular pre-insulated panel, because you've got no cavity. So you've got to work around that. You've got plumbing services that you've got to plan for and think about ahead of time. Internal wall studs for mounting. There's typically, you put either studs and blockings in for a wall mount vanity or a TV. You've got to think of that ahead of time, and you've got to have that pre-incorporated into that panel. So there is a lot of education around these building practices that I think people need to, put a bit of time into first, and then they can make an educated decision. I'm interested in maybe doing a bit of that. But me, myself, I'm always interested to do something new because I find the challenge invigorating, I find it exciting, and I think personally that it's the best way to grow.
Yeah. You
may not love all of it, you might go, that's the best about every single aspect.
Yeah.
Every carpenter and every trippy's got things that they don't enjoy doing about a job.
Yeah.
And that's what leads to this sort of modern day carpentry now, is everyone's a specialised person. So you've got a guy that only does fix out. You've got a guy that only does prefab frames. You've got a guy that only does cladding and facades. You've got a guy that only does decks. And then you've got guys that only do fire doors. Only do one facet. And there's nothing wrong with it. I don't object to it because there is like an easier aspect of the lifestyle of specialising. And there's so much volume these days that there's sort of a need for it. But it does make it difficult on the apprentices, I find, or like the younger people in the trade, to learn properly if they're not under someone who can actually skill them in a wider variety of things. So I have apprentices that have come from pure framing backgrounds. They're great, they've got all the basics down pat, but they might be second or third year in, and they don't know how to do anything outside of that.
Yeah, limited.
And then they need that education over the next year and a half or 2 years of their trade to really be able to call themselves a carpenter as a whole. And I know guys who are mates of mine who have only done prefab frames for 12 years since their first year. They've never done anything else, that's it. And that's all they'll do, probably until they retire, which is fine. But it's like you have to be willing to understand that if you're a young person or an apprentice, or you're thinking about doing an apprenticeship, those 4 years are critical to your development as a chippy or as an aspiring builder down the line, all that sort of thing. It's critical that you understand that what you learn in that time will often determine what your options are later. Because, it can be quite disappointing for people when they're a tradesman or a subcontractor and they can't actually get the work, or they can't get an opportunity because they don't have the skill set.